Nope. It's going backwards.
Rolling.
Going backwards.
Rolling.
The thing was moving backwards.
I think it was just like leveling up with the playhead.
Oh.
Welcome to Day One Patch Podcast, episode 234.
You sure about that?
Yeah, I had to listen in big old numbers on my thing here. I'm your host, Ryan Johnson.
It's also in the calendar, Matt.
He's the one that said it. I didn't say anything.
That's Matt Lawrence, causing problems.
That ain't me.
Getting closer to Christmas, so there's not too many stories. Things are scaling down.
People are shutting down.
Running around. How's your Christmas shopping going, Matt?
Tomorrow's gonna be hell.
I gotta go shopping too.
Oh, it's
So maybe you actually should drive yourself, and then we'll just split off and go do our separate things.
yeah, maybe. Oh man, it's gonna be rough.
And thank you, Adriano, for the gift.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you very
Go
much.
Go ahead, try it on.
I will. I will have one in return next week if we see you then.
Yeah, I plan on. The plan is to come forward, but leading up to Christmas, there is a possibility I might bail on it.
Yeah.
But I have the same thing, so you should arrive.
What?
Yeah, you heard me.
He has a gift as well. I think the same thing.
Yeah, he said it all cryptically.
We both got you the same.
That's what I was trying to do. I was trying to be like a little bit mysterious, so he is curious and is like, oh man.
Oh, he has to show up then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, Ryan.
Nah, just Amazon Prime it to me.
I ain't a drop shipper.
I could do that.
I ain't a drop shipper.
All right, what's new, guys? What's happening? What are you playing, or what are you planning to play on your Christmas break?
I actually went back and I picked up again some Last of Us.
Hooray!
But I also hit a wall.
Technical wall or
figuratively,
Okay.
And then threw it in the trash.
So
Right in the garbage.
I got through the town. You know the bumbling jackass that Ellie didn't get along with.
Yeah. What's his name?
I can't remember.
Wait, is it the guy who's like? This is a spoiler. Is it the guy setting the traps?
Yes.
That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we went through the town. We departed. Then I can't remember where I am, but I think we went through like the high rise buildings, like the hotels.
Mm-hmm.
Then I got separated. I went down the elevator shaft. Now I'm at a part where it's dark and it's quiet, and I can see a couple clickers just kind of running around. But I found a generator, and I turn on the generator, and guess what happens?
Big old.
A couple of them.
Yeah.
And the big guy. And it's immediate. It's a one hit. It's a one animation kill encounter. Like they get on you, you're dead immediately. So like that's where I'm at right now. I also find it that the clickers, even when I'm quiet and like I'm sneaking around and I'm crouched down, even if I move slightly, they immediately know where I am and they immediately come at me.
I don't recall, but is there any like upgrades to lessen your?
There
sound?
are upgrades to do that, but I find like. It's like I move too, like my NPC allies are just running around making noise all over the place. They don't give a fuck about that. But I move two centimeters and they know exactly where I am. Other than that, I've been playing some.
So you're stuck at that part though.
I'm stuck. I wouldn't say stuck because I got killed maybe once or twice and then I immediately turned it off and I haven't gone back since.
Roxanne got stuck at that part and I had to beat it for her.
Yeah, and I have a feeling it's going to be a lot of memorizations. And be like, okay, there's two guys out of this way.
Well, I'll tell you this: to easily take those guys down, use grenades and Molotovs.
And that's
like just like a couple Molotovs, a couple grenades, they go down.
And that's what I find with the Molotovs, even on like human NPCs, they just like, which I really like. But I'm playing some Onrush, some Hearthstone.
You done that yet?
How do you feel about Onrush? I booted up. It's like a car combat game. It's not so much a racing game.
It's not a
right?
racing game. It's a racing game which you don't have to come in first.
Mm-hmm.
You have to win by
tricks and destroying other people,
beating down the other team.
Mm-hmm.
I liked Onrush. I got bored with it pretty quickly. And like going through the campaign, I have literally one more race to win. And once I'm done that, I'm probably deleting it.
I was done after the tutorial.
Yeah, I understand that, and I understand why I went free super quick. I'm also upset that I went free, even though I paid full fucking price for that game. But it did. I had an arcade racer itch that I needed to scratch, and that did it for me.
To be fair, I bought Soma. Remember we did a Let's Play on that?
Yeah.
So that's the other free
That's the
game.
fucking worst. That's the fucking worst. They should just give you like, I'd even say like, give me like $2 PSN credit in lieu of it. Just if I have it already in my library.
I mean, to be fair, they don't have to give away free games.
Yeah, they do. If they lost network connectivity on the PS3 for how long? 3 months? You couldn't play online.
Was it 3 months?
That PSN outage.
Was it actually?
I don't know if it was
actually 3
3
months?
I thought it was like 3 months.
I'm gonna look this up.
Yeah, they
What do we
they
call
should be
that?
giving
The
double
great-
the amount of games for free.
Well, no, what I'm saying is, okay, on the 360, you had Xbox Live Gold, and there was no free games until later in the generation. PlayStation started doing the free games thing, which caused Microsoft to do it. And they're not really free games. You're technically paying for them.
Well, you're paying for the online service. Like you're paying.
Yes,
for
but your PS Plus subscription gives you access to free games. So if you just wanted the free games, you technically had to buy the service to get the free games.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's included with your subscription.
yeah, but they're not.
And the games go away when your subscription goes away.
Yes, but I would still say that you're paying for the ability to play online. The game is
Mainly.
an added bonus.
Yeah.
But you're aware of the bonus. It's not like they just threw it in without you knowing. By the way, it was 23 days.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
That's brutal. That is absolutely brutal.
Starting
I
on
think-
May 4th.
I think that was when SOCOM came out, which is an online-only game. Remember that? And it died.
SOCOM Confrontation? was
Whichever
it?
one.
Something like
Actually,
that.
that's the one I got my Bluetooth earpiece with. I bought that game. It came bundled with a Bluetooth earpiece.
And then you couldn't play it.
I didn't like it anyway, even when I got to play it. And so I just kept-
SOCOM was a serious game.
Yeah.
Real serious.
Are you done?
I guess.
Matt, what are you playing?
Kind of sounds like you were cut off. That was weird. What am I playing? I'm playing a post-apocalyptic role-playing glitch.
To be fair, this update was really good.
To be clear here, there were 2 updates. I don't know whether we talked about the other one, but there was 2
Two
updates.
or three? I feel like there's 3, right?
Well, the one came out yesterday, so December 13th. So the December 13th one was a good one. That was I was on PS4. So December 13th was good, and it's we were just getting used to it now. We're just getting into it now. But the last one, holy Christ, major issues. So if you had pocketed armor and you exited while the pocketed armor was on, like the pocket didn't work, including excavator armor. Like if you had that pocket glitch and then you try to jump into excavator armor, it wouldn't add the 100. So you'd have to relog. And then I found out that because I was relogging, another glitch that happened when you relog duplicated my external items in my shop, and I was scrapping them because I did that once, and I just thought I was like, oh, maybe it's like giving me back my items because remember there was the glitch of if there's items that are outside of your home, the actual foundation of the home or whatever, outside of a blueprint, they would just disappear. I thought maybe the game had as of the patch refunded me those items, so I just scrapped them all, and then I realized there was the stash increase. Yes, we definitely talked about this because I remember we talked about stash increase. There's a stash increase to 600. I used up all that junk that we had mentioned that you had given me last week, and then so I'd gotten my stash under control again. And then I realized it was 623 of 600, and I was like, how the fuck did that even happen? And I go in there, and it's because I have been scrapping from the stored of my thing, and there was 100 corn and stuff. It was just all this external stuff,
God,
all
yeah.
the crops and stuff.
Yeah.
So I got rid of it. But then I remember I was playing and I wanted to change something on my house because I remodeled my whole house, and I went to go do something else, and I realized the budget was full and the budget wasn't full before, so that was weird. And so then I realized that it had duplicated all my items, but it kept doing it, I guess, on relog. People were saying that it happens sometimes on relog. So because I was relogging so much, this was happening. And what ended up happening to me, and I'm speculating a little bit here, but because I had so many items, I started becoming unstable. And so I kept crashing. But when I crashed, that would be exiting with pocketed armor on. So I would log in and then have to relog. And then that would cause the glitch to happen due to a glitch. And it was a total disaster. Total disaster. Now, the game never crashed. It crashed once on me on the first ever launch day, whatever it is. It is now crashing less on the December 13th patch, but it is still crashing, and it's not as bad as before. But the patches have increased the amount of crashes.
Wait.
So okay, no. So the patch that
What?
added the patch that added the additional, like up to 600 stash.
Yeah.
That one to me introduced crashes. I'm on a regular launch day PS4. The December 13th one has lessened the crashes. However, at launch of the game, I only experienced one crash for hours. And Tim is also reporting a lot of crashing as well.
So
On the 600 stash patch.
right. Oh,
I'm talking about the old patch.
the old patch. Okay.
The old one where I had to relog and stuff.
Because
So
I played a bunch yesterday and I played a bunch today,
I never crashed.
and I never crashed once.
I only crashed once yesterday, so it could have just been a fluke. So, but it's much improved.
And logging in for the first time before, it's like the world would appear, and then you'd have very minimal movement. You couldn't see your arms.
start
you
to
couldn't,
freeze
you
and
couldn't
stuff.
see your weapon. Your camp wouldn't be there, and then like your gun would finally appear, and then your camp would finally appear, and like the piece would be black, and it would take like maybe a minute just to
Sometimes I'm up to a minute. Sometimes
now I find it's a lot faster, which is good because sometimes
seems to be faster.
I often die in that state, which sucks.
Well, that was a whole thing too. Is with the whole relogging glitch, I would have to log in, and I couldn't run around because I was over encumbered due to the thing. So I would strip all my armor off. Then I'd have to relog. When I relog, I would spawn in a hostile area with a bunch of enemies.
Mm-hmm.
So like it was just a whole like that relogging, and that was like it's much worse than you think. Like it's a massive implication to constantly have to relog and stuff like that.
Yeah. So the good news is it's getting better.
It's getting better. I was ready to delete it when I had the relog stuff.
Wow.
I was ready because I like it wasn't playable really, and it was just like this is fucking stupid. And then I was talking to my one buddy Anthony, and he was like, "Well, just wait for the patch." And I was like, and that was the spark for the query corner this week, because I was just like, I should like I don't mean to be entitled, but I shouldn't have to wait for a patch. Honestly,
Well, you're entitled when you pay.
I paid the money.
$80 for this, and you paid $200 for the special edition.
pay $250.
Now I know that doesn't necessarily include like that's not all towards the game, but
No,
still,
you get the helmet.
you paid
but
a lot of money thinking this was going to be a great time. So I would say you are entitled to a working product.
That's the thing. Like, I mean, I paid my dues. It's not like I didn't. It's not like it's a free to play game in beta. So I mean, that was a big fucking disaster
I never understand this. Like, why'd they put the beta so close to launch?
because they wanted to just stress test, but I don't know.
But they should have just had a beta where let people play,
Yeah.
discover all these things, and have it launch on this patch. Even would be better, I think.
Well, I don't know about you, but do you remember when all the press got a hold of the game and they did like I think it was a 3-hour stint?
Yeah.
Do you remember they were saying that Bethesda had warned them that the area around Vault 76 was the only optimized area?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have a PS4 Pro. I have a regular PS4. I encourage you to play around in an area far away from Vault 76 for a bit, and then go to Vault 76 play.
You think it's still optimized?
I think it's way better there. If the whole game ran like the area around Vault 76, I don't think I'd be complaining.
Mm.
Because the issue now is like, so we were in the Greenbrier area, so the White Springs Resort, and it wasn't like too bad. And that area is pretty crowded. It's usually pretty bad, and it wasn't too bad. But it still has that like, so like the general frame rate was actually pretty good, even on my regular PS4.
Mm-hmm.
But that fucking like the hitch, like when it like freezes and has to like load something, I guess, and then it like, but you're getting beat to shit.
But you're right. It happens during critical times when you're surrounded by like 40 ghouls.
Or your gun doesn't load, you switch guns, and it just like click,
Yeah.
and it just like doesn't pull out your guns. You're like, okay.
And oftentimes my guns, like when I boot up the game, my guns aren't loaded.
Your guns aren't loaded.
So I typically always have my gun fully loaded, right? It's just
Right.
naturally you always reload your gun.
Okay.
And so when I quit the game, I know my guns are reloaded.
Or at least some of them would be.
Or at least the one I'm holding, which is the one I spawn with when I come back.
Right.
And I always have to reload it.
That's bizarre.
So not only do I sometimes spawn in like a dangerous area where there's ghouls running at me, and then it's slow to load up the actual game, my gun also is now empty.
Send it back.
What the fuck?
And then my one gun, that lever action one, has that glitch where you have to reload 5 times every single time.
That's a glitch. Like everyone has it.
That's brutal.
And there was a guy on Reddit that wrote a comprehensive list of glitches, and he mentioned that. I never noticed that glitch, and then I went and tested it, and I was like, "Oh fuck! Like they should fix that. They're probably gonna fix it right away." And they never did.
You can't interrupt it like a shotgun either.
Nope.
So if you get hit while reloading that 5 times, back to 0.
Yep.
Brutal. Absolutely brutal.
But the thing is like yesterday we got ambushed really hard. Like there was a huge fight. Holy fuck!
That was the biggest fight I've ever had in Fallout.
That was
Ever, any game.
We approached the top of the world ski resort, and there's like a village beside it where Raiders used to live, and Super Mutants live there now. And we were like, usually a Fallout interchange is like, there's a couple of lackeys, 2 like mid-level guys, and then 1 big dude. This was like at least 6, 7 big guys, like and not like all in one area. It's like in this like in a quite a large area on the map. So like that whole top of the world area. But it was like we were in a constant fight. Like we'd move up because we were doing the messenger event.
Yeah.
So we'd like move up a little bit, and then like another massive fight. Move up a little bit, another massive fight, and then we're out of shit. We're completely out of shit. And then all of a sudden, remember we fought for maybe about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
20 minutes. And then we were like walking up, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's over. And then a fucking rocket, like out of the woodwork, like out of these trees, it like tries to hit me, like it misses me,
Yeah.
and then it just erupts again into like a firefight. And the worst part is we then clear that area out, and then we're like, okay, I think it's all right. And then I hear like, what the fuck is happening in this fucking game?
We must have been fighting for 40 minutes.
We were fighting for 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And something insane happened last night. I claimed a public workshop. I scrapped my stuff and stored it. I then went over to another place on the map, and I died. And then, like, I didn't have any junk on me. I died. My bag was there. Or, like, I shouldn't say I didn't have any junk on me. I went to someone else's public workshop, and I stole all their stuff. Okay? So I had a bunch of stuff on me, but it wasn't the stuff that we had looted. I died. My bag dropped. The game crashed, and I lost my bag. But I would have lost that whole night's worth of shit. And I was like, holy fuck. Like, I did technically lose a lot of stuff, but it was like ill-gotten gains that I got in about 10, 15 minutes.
Right. That's
Holy Christ.
So it's still a hell of a game.
It's still...
It has its moments. I think that's the sad thing about it. Is like you can see a good game hidden behind this mess, you know?
Well, like the thing is like a lot of people are complaining about the gameplay, and I don't think that's necessarily fair.
The gameplay, it's typical Fallout gameplay, really.
I mean, the NPC complaint is valid. The lack of polish is valid, and the performance is, which I mean could be looped into the polish, is valid.
And I'm starting to dislike the perk system. I really liked it when I started out, but now that I have like 100 cards, you know, I'm getting confused as to what I either have equipped or what I have in my inventory for cards.
Well, it gets and you'll actually realize in my opinion anyway. I think you'll notice it gets worse because when you hit 50, you don't get specials anymore. And so what's happening is I still get to choose a card every rank, and there's like the respec system that was just introduced, which I haven't tried yet. But there's like the new, like I can choose a new card every level, and sometimes I'll get like a perk card pack. And so it'll be like, do you want to rank this up? But it'll automatically ask me if I want to rank it up. But in the past, if I did that, then I would just level up again later and add a special. Now it's like, if I already have the level 1 version of the card equipped, I can't level it up. Also, I have to pull another perk off to put this one up. And so it's like a big issue.
It's a big balancing act.
Well, what I think I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to determine which perk cards are good for when I'm building things. And I'm gonna have to take those off and put combat ones in when I'm out. And then when we go back to the camp to like scrap and stuff, I'm gonna have to switch my perk cards out.
I think that's what their idea is, right?
That's probably what I should be doing.
I'm going to this scenario. I'll need these things, right? And you kind of reorganize it that way.
Because like, why do I need the construction of armor mods when I'm out just fighting?
Yeah,
that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably my.
I
next
also got a
step.
little confused too because I was like, oh, I need level 3 gunsmith, you know. And it's like, I can't find a level 3 gunsmith card. And I forgot you have to combine them to actually level up the card so you get gunsmith level 3. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that was a little confused there for a bit. And I couldn't find it. And I was like, kind of getting frustrated until I realized I had to combine a couple cards.
Would you play this game solo?
I play mostly solo now.
What's your goal with it? Like, you don't care about hitting every location.
Well,
So what are you doing in it? Like, when you're alone, what do you do in it?
story missions.
Only story missions.
Well, I do the side quest to like level up. Yeah,
What level are you?
36, 37.
Oh, Jesus, you guys are way behind me. Jesus.
You must have been playing it nonstop. You must have been tearing through
I took a week off.
because we're at the same point story wise.
Yeah.
So you must have just like done everything but missions and just leveled up, killing things, exploring things, finding new locations.
Yeah.
You must have went for a rip.
I went for a rip. Well, it was pretty good. The other day I was playing and Marty was just in the party and
Marty party.
and we were like walking. I was walking around in the ash heap and I never realized there's a city in the south of the ash heap, but I've never been there. And I just
I
like
just went
walked
there yesterday. Yeah.
and I just like walked over this big rock crop and I'm like, what the fuck? And Marty's like, what happened? I'm like, I just found a fucking city back here. And he's like, what the fuck's going on? And I'm like, I don't know. I just found a full city back here.
Yeah.
The problem with stuff like that is that I think the locations still lack.
Lack.
Like, they're not very interesting. They're lacking.
It seems like they focus more on this is this is your deserty area. This is your woodsy area. You know.
They did the whole biome thing,
Yeah.
but the areas themselves are not anything special for the most part.
Yeah. Adriano, any thoughts?
All the thoughts.
I don't know that I would actually ever want to play this game based on all your complaints.
You should not play it. No.
I should not play it
Yeah. Stick to 4.
if I ever
Because the main mission, I don't even know how to really describe it because it was really random. Remember the main mission like swapped?
Yeah.
The main mission like just suddenly at some point becomes the side mission. And we're not really sure why that is, but it still works. It's not broken. It just becomes the side mission. So for you, it'd be like, no, I don't have a main mission. What do I do? And you'd have to explore to get the main mission.
Ugh.
At least that's how I
Also,
did it.
also that what the main mission was, and when it becomes like a side mission, it's literally just find the overseer's path or something like that.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
ambiguous. It doesn't give you a point. It doesn't tell you where to go.
It does for the first couple. It does
That's
for the first couple.
but then when it switches, it doesn't tell you anymore.
Yes,
And I just
right.
have to randomly find those crates she left behind. And,
Yeah, it's like every
Gee.
like major location.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, this game sounds horrible. I don't even know if I'll end up playing Fallout 4.
you won't. So
Fallout 4 is a gem though.
that's already been written off in the old Adriano book.
I have it bought. The Game of the Year edition is bought. It's
Oh.
it's in my PlayStation library because after I saw the trailer for the Outer Planet, the
Outer Worlds.
Outer Worlds, I'm like that might just be my Fallout.
Yeah. So Matt, I guess you're gonna be playing Fallout over the holidays.
Well, Adriano just recently purchased Sea of Thieves.
Yes,
Oh,
And I was going to
I
propose
did.
we give that a go at some point.
I'll download it.
Woo! It's already installed too.
I can just download it when we go to play it. Just
Look
show
at
off the internet.
Look at this guy.
Yeah, just you guys want to play in 10 minutes? Yeah, no worries. Actually,
So I got that free trial for Game Pass, and then it's only $1 for the first month. So
that's what I'm going to do too. I'm going to
Yeah.
do the Game Pass. It's going to force me to try it. I've been trying to
I
procrastinating.
thought about it for like a day and a half whether I should just do Game Pass or I should just do Sea of Thieves, like buy Sea of Thieves, and I realized I'm just like my problem is I have too many games now that I have and I haven't played. If I get Game Pass, I essentially have a fuck ton of more games that I'm never going to play.
Well, for you, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense for me.
For me, it's like Microsoft titles
I-
interest me, but I won't buy them for full $80. So now I can just play them.
Yeah. Like I'll probably buy Forza around Christmas when I see it on for like a
Oh
Boxing
fuck,
Day.
that's in Game Pass, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll probably buy that outright though.
but do you want to own these games? Is that another factor in this?
Yeah, I
Because
think that might be a small part of it that I'm not coming to terms with.
Game Pass is so cheap compared to buying these games outright. You know, so how much did you pay for Sea of Thieves?
It was on sale for 40.
40. It was like $39.99.
So if are you gonna play it more than a month or two?
Depends.
You know,
I think we could be like going back and forth.
I guess
probably.
Forza you could get in for a while, right?
I think my main problem is just like I don't my problem with the subscription system is for me personally when I put down a controller for a game, it could be months before I go back to it.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, financially, that doesn't make sense.
Right.
And that is one of my biggest problems with WoW is I want to actually play WoW through and through.
Jeez.
But paying month to month, I might not play for like a year at a time. And I don't want to do that. if WoW allowed me to prepay the hours, like if I just paid for let's say 100 hours, and then every minute I'm on it just literally just shaved off, I would be more willing to do that.
You should
Play Star Wars: The Old Republic, free through and through.
Well, what I was gonna say is you should treat WoW like the Division. So I mean, obviously they're totally different games, but you play the Division pretty regularly. What I was gonna say is like when you're done the Division 2, probably because that's coming up, you could boot up WoW and just rip through the story or whatever there is there.
You can also do the first 40 hours for first 40 levels of it for free.
Yeah, that might be the first game. I am not a World of Warcraft player.
No, because me and Adriano did it.
Yeah.
To level 40? You
Yeah.
guys get to level 40?
Yeah.
And no, but is that I'm not a WoW player. Is that the
No,
main games?
I didn't play to level 40, but what was it was like play 20 hours or something like that?
I thought it was a level thing. It wasn't.
I don't recall. Anyway.
Well, is level 40 the end of the base game?
No, not even close. I don't think.
And by end I mean the main story, not
No,
not
God, no.
side
We
shit.
barely scratched the
Is there
surface.
even a main story?
Yeah.
The thing that I'm afraid of in those games is like I don't want to be in a forest for too long. Like it's like one forest and you'll just like never see me. It's like and I'm just like in that forest for like 40,000 hours, and then I just like come out and it's like Jesus.
You move around quite a bit in that game.
Yeah.
But like you could stay in that forest and like talk to all the people and then get all the quests and then do all the quests.
Yeah. There wasn't too many quests
Really?
that we picked up, in that early game. I imagine later game you probably have a ton.
Yeah.
Maybe you should just get ESO because we already have it. And we could all play ESO.
But he doesn't care about it.
Because but does he care about? Do you care about World of Warcraft?
Yeah, kind of. I'm more of a Blizzard guy than I am a.
Yeah.
But it's an
Bethesda
MMO
guy.
here. It's not going to be the greatest like story of our generation. And there's no subscription fee.
Yeah, but if I was going to play an MMO for the sake of playing an MMO, I'd probably just do Star Trek Online.
Ugh. I already played that twice.
Yeah, but that's exactly my point though. So like if I want to play an MMO, I'm actually interested in, not for the sake of just playing an MMO. And I'd probably be WoW. Because here's the thing, I actually have a small hope that they are going to announce at some point WoW free to play.
I don't think they
I don't think so either.
Why? They announced they brought StarCraft 2 free to play.
But that's a little bit different because it was like kind of like big in the esports scene, and the story like there's still story content you have to purchase, and it's giving the people online more people to play with. So it's in essence, quote unquote, fixing or revitalizing the community, which I think is why they did it. I assume because I think that's the thing that they needed it. That'd be like if we run out of people to play play the Division with, and they make the Division free to play. Like if the game was broken because the community is gone, then that fixes it. And I think, from what I've been told from people who have played it, which I didn't before it was free, that the players started dropping off, and it was all like super skilled guys left. So if you were like mid, you would just get fucking rocked playing online. So like this kind of like fixes it if that was true.
What I don't like about MMOs is it kind of sounds counterintuitive, but I don't like the online aspect of it.
That doesn't make any sense.
Because there's some missions where you literally need a party,
Yeah.
either doing a raid or doing whatever,
Even Fallout.
just doing a community mission or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And the higher up guys are so technical with everything. So I was playing SOTOR, and I was just doing my normal thing. I was killing enemies and whatnot, and this guy was like yelling at me to freaking change like my stance.
Yeah.
It's like
It's elitist, man.
I'm
serious.
just playing a game here.
No,
I'm
it's
not-
very
I'm not- so-
it becomes very serious business.
They got it all worked down to the numbers and stuff. They're doing math. They got charts and stuff out, and it's too much for me. And so I don't like the pressure of having to play with other people.
And I don't understand that whole math thing too, because you're so
I don't understand a whole math.
no, because you're so far removed from the lore at that point. At that point, you're no longer playing World of Warcraft. You're playing a fucking spreadsheet. Like an interactive spreadsheet. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like they get all hyped up for the trailers, but is it like, are you just ready to crunch more numbers? Like, is that what you're
But that's
excited
kind of what
for?
the point is, because they literally give you all your percentages and stuff broken down. And you can see what everything does and all these different abilities and effects. And
But you could do that. You can do that casually by being like, oh, this is 10% more. Let's see how much that actually affects combat. And then you go like, oh, 10% affected a bit. This one's 20%. Now I know that's quite a bit.
My problem is I jump from game to game so often. It's just like I don't have
can't do
time
that.
to keep that in my memory to know. Oh, this weapon works good on these types of enemies and crap like that.
You can't do that in those type of games.
Yeah.
Which is not great. Sea of Thieves is going to be fucking interesting for us because I'm pretty sure you can be attacked by other players.
Mm-hmm.
And I have an itchy trigger finger, boys. So I'm gonna start firing
Someone
off,
just looks-
off some cannons.
gives
Hey,
a
look,
bad look.
there's like a ghost ship, and it's like somebody who's like level 90 or whatever.
Oh my God.
And I'm just gonna turn my ship over and let's go fucking get him.
Well, we need to figure out chain of command when it comes to ship.
Captain,
No, I'm gonna fucking mutiny again. Ryan and I are gonna be the only level-headed ones.
what are you talking about? I'm not. I am battle ready.
I am a follower. I will not take the captain.
Captain.
Come on, Ryan. I need you to help me keep this guy in check.
Captain.
No, but if you're captain, I'll follow your order.
Okay. good.
Mop the galley, bitch.
I am going to be captain.
Is that a thing?
What?
Mop the galley, bitch.
I mean, there's a galley on a ship, and you can mop it. I guess.
We'll
Mop
call
the
the
galley,
ship.
bitch.
We'll call the ship Enterprise.
Mop the deck is more the
That's
the
lame.
phrase. You can mop the galley. I guess.
Enterprise with the British spelling with a Z.
What was? You know what I actually want to try is the PSVR Star Trek game. That I
Bridge Crew.
I'm really interested in.
You want a good Star Trek bridge game?
There is one for PC, right? or
Yeah,
something?
Star Trek Bridge Commander.
Bridge Commander, not Bridge Command.
Bridge Commander,
Okay.
because there's an actual story there. Like, there's an actual narrative through line. See if that's like on GOG or something, because that is a fantastic game. That is a really fun game. In fact, actually, I'm gonna see if that's on GOG.
You're gonna fucking buy another game right now, live on air.
That game is fantastic. I love that game.
All right, I guess we went into the stories now. We talked a bunch, but
That's
yeah,
what I
we
was
filled
telling
up-
you. You
filled
were
up
worried
the
about
time there.
stories. We did a bunch this week, so it was gonna fill it up.
All right, first story is Shawn Layden. He's spoken out on the lack of PlayStation news because A, they're not having a PSX, and B, they pulled out of E3 next year. However, people were like asking him on Twitter, like, what the hell's like, what's going on? And Shawn Layden responded by saying, "See you in the new year," which is weird because E3's in the new year.
Oh shit!
E3's in the new year though.
Yeah, but that could mean he's gonna release 3 trailers across the whole year.
And yeah, and
Like I would say, like honestly, don't read into it.
Sony's like all their studios are like spent right now.
That's the thing.
All their big games have launched
Or launching,
launching,
which is fine.
and they're probably gearing up for next gen. So
Maybe that's why they didn't show up to anything.
they probably want the games that they're going to announce in 2019 and beyond will come out on the PS4 and whatever consoles next.
How much you want to bet the PS5 is portable?
It's a possibility. Sony likes to go after the whatever Nintendo does.
Hey, I'm looking for a Switch this Boxing Day,
Yeah.
and I'm not a Nintendo guy.
The problem is though, like the games on Sony and Xbox are so focused on being these powerhouse games with amazing graphics and amazing worlds and stuff, which you
At
can't.
what though?
You can't do on a Switch-like device.
What are you talking about though? At what? At what resolution?
Well, 4K.
Your
Yeah.
resolution.
So if you have a little tiny screen, 720p is more than serviceable, and that is a massive load off the graphics card.
How much is this console going to be though?
It has to be priced to sell. It has to be like 400
Because
or
that
500
limits the hardware you can put
Canadian.
in there. Then you're going to have a Switch-like device.
No,
which
unless,
can't.
unless
Not
we're,
if it- not
unless
if the
we're willing
dock.
to take a hit on them, they can absolutely sell that. thing
And
for
if the
under.
dock is actually powered, it's not just a dock.
Yeah.
Not like a plastic pass through.
Yeah.
If it's like an actual powered dock.
Doesn't the dock do something a little bit? Doesn't it? Or does it just provide more power to the GPU so it runs
For
a little
what?
better? The Switch.
I didn't think it actually did anything, but I could be wrong.
What's the resolution on the Switch screen?
720?
I thought it was 1080.
720?
I'm pretty sure it's 720.
Because on the TV it's 1080, right?
Oh, you know,
Yeah,
I think that's what it is.
that's
I
what it
think
is.
that's what it is. 720 on the thing, 1080 on the TV.
It might be the power thing then. I'm not really sure. I'm not sure on that. Because I actually don't even plan on setting up my dock.
Mhm.
I'm just going to play it in handheld. It's literally the replacement for my Vita, because my Vita's old now.
I'm out of HDMI ports too. Christ.
Oh, I have enough. But
Just go buy.
buy a switcher. What are you doing?
I don't want a big ugly switcher back there.
It's a tiny little thing
yeah,
like
it's
that.
a
I don't
little
want
thing.
that. I don't want
The one I
a-
have
You don't
is
want-
like-
you don't
it's
want a
like-
switcher. Need
it's
a
like
switcher? No,
literally
no,
this
no,
big.
I don't want a switcher. No.
You can get auto ones. You kind of hide them.
Are you using your Xbox's in port?
Yeah.
All right.
Are you really?
You're
For
doomed.
my receiver.
You can get auto ones. You don't even have to know it's there. You can literally plug them in your priority, and when it detects a signal, it will just always switch to that one.
That's nice. Okay, that's better.
My,
yeah.
my brother-in-law has one. He hides in his media closet, and he's like everything has a priority list. So even though you're using this, if you turn that on, it automatically switches that. When you turn it off, it switches back.
So sorry, but Switch docked is a maximum of 1080p. Some games run less. So Skyrim here is listed as 900p on
Skyrim
on
is like a
Forbes.
specific edition for the Switch. Like it's a Switch edition of Skyrim.
Yes, and well, of course. Undocked. When it's in your hands, not connected to the
undocked,
TV.
sure,
Jesus
undocked.
Christ, that is 720p.
Okay.
I was trying to get the terminology right, but then I gave up. But yeah, handheld is 720.
I mean,
but,
like,
but, that, no, but
Nintendo,
that's perfect though.
But Nintendo also doesn't always put the best hardware. I imagine they could have gotten better mobile hardware in
Wasn't
the
it
Switch.
a 2013 Shield or something like that? Something like that.
Yeah. So if Sony wanted to do that, how much would you pay for a Sony portable console?
The same price as a regular one. I ain't paying any extra.
It's like 400.
Like 400 or 500. Yeah, I ain't paying any extra. Because I don't like the thing is with the Switch is it's like I'm going to be playing it portably in the house. I'm not going to be taking it around because when I'm out doing something, I'm out doing something.
Yeah.
What's going on over there?
I'm just
Opening
looking-
Blu-rays,
I'm just looking
fucking
at this. I'm
around.
looking
Look
at
at
the
you.
Black Panther thing
Christ.
that Ryan has here. They didn't give you a DVD copy of this,
I don't want a DVD copy anyway.
Not what the 4K is, bud.
so it's either it's
Yeah, if you're buying
4K,
a
4K and Blu-ray or it's DVD and Blu-ray.
if you're buying a 4K Blu-ray, you don't care about DVDs.
Maybe some people do care about
Usually
DVD,
the combo
okay?
packs only do,
Maybe
like, one
some
down.
people care about
I'm sorry.
the DVD.
No, if you are buying a 4K disc, you don't give a damn about freaking DVD resolution.
I need to figure out a way to rip Blu-rays.
So you have a library of Blu-rays that you want to digitize.
Not many.
It's not
It's
going
like-
forward.
It's like less than 10.
Okay. Yeah, how often would you even watch those? You don't really rewatch films, right?
I was going to say you don't really watch it.
I want them digitized. I just want
For archives, I guess?
after I lost my iTunes library, I'm just like fuck iTunes. I just want my own Plex server now. So I literally just want to build that up. I literally just want to build it up for the sake of having it. I don't even want to use it. The problem is I'm trying to like burn subtitles into certain things and it's not working properly. That's infuriating.
I mean, you could just buy digital copies.
No, I have a collection already.
And get
Why
that,
why would I give money for something I already own?
Well, you should have done this like 10 years ago. That's when I started buying everything digital.
That's a lie. You started games like recently.
Games, yes, but my music and movies,
Yeah.
yeah. And games was only really recently because they shipped with pretty small hard drives before.
They still kind of do.
But yeah,
I was gonna say like it hasn't changed because like the ratio of the size of game versus the size of hard drive.
you know what I want to see is I want to see the Order 1886 sequel.
I would love to have a sequel.
So what
to
if that gets
game.
announced in 2019 and it's coming out on the next?
What is the Santa Monica studio working on?
I don't know actually. That's what I mean. They could be working on it. Who knows? They spent all that time making a beautiful world and characters.
It's such a good looking game.
Yeah. So.
The cutscenes, they're so well shot, composed, I should say. It got to the point where I was watching cutscene. I started to evaluate those cutscenes not as a game, but as an actual film.
Yeah.
That is how good that game looked. Or those cutscenes looked.
And then the transition into gameplay. Like a lot of people
fucking good.
after that first cutscene, a lot of people actually just sat there, because they thought it was still a cutscene.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't like the letterboxing, but I kind of enjoyed it.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
Yeah.
That,
So anyway-
that world, the whole world building alone was fantastic.
I don't know what Sony's going to be doing next year. Maybe they're not doing a PSX this year. We don't know what's happening next year. But even if they did it next year, that would still be in December.
I'm kind of speculating that they're gonna do another console and they want to do like a console like a hardware conference.
But what if they move PSX to like E3 time?
Then they might like that's a really big possibility.
That might be why they skipped it this year because it's only going to happen in 6 months from now, 6 or 7 months, whenever E3 is.
They're gonna be across the road like the Ouya was or something, whatever the
And
hell
EA,
that was a weird
over there with
situation.
EA and Ouya.
Fuck, that was a weird situation.
Yeah. All right. Some sad news for Adriano here. Heroes of the Storm is scaling back as the devs are moving to other projects and the tournaments have been canceled. This comes to us from GameSpot.
Wow, they've actually canceled the tournaments.
Yeah. So in a blog post, Blizzard's J. Allen Brack and Ray Gretzko said that they're making the tough choice to move developers from Heroes of the Storm to other projects. We need to take advantage of our talented developers and bring their skills to other projects. As a result, we've made a difficult decision to shift some developers from Heroes of the Storm to other teams, and we're excited to see the passion, knowledge, and experience that they bring to those projects. Now, I think this kind of makes sense. It's probably the weakest performing of their games, right? Wouldn't you say?
I would say it's kind of hard to tell.
Overwatch is successful. WoW, of course, is their staple.
But like we were finding matches really quick and stuff.
They did God of War?
Who?
The Santa Monica studio?
Yeah, that's right. Wasn't that the PSP ones?
No, the
actual ones?
The latest one.
Oh, I don't know. I've played like PSP versions.
So wait, are you on the Santa Monica studio?
It was on the wiki page.
And like the Order 1886 is on there, and God of War,
The Order, yeah.
and the original and the new 2018 God of War.
God of War Saga. Then you go further down. God of War Ascension, The Order 1886, God of War 3 Remastered. Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. That was them. Bound. God of War.
2018 God of War.
April 20th, 2018, God of War.
Well, goddamn.
That was them.
That's pretty impressive.
That's what they've been fucking working on.
And you like the cinematography in The Order, right?
Yeah.
God of War has a never cutting camera.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Unless you die, of course.
Yeah.
But otherwise, the camera never cuts. It goes right into a cutscene, and you're just flying through the world.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Sorry, Heroes. Oh, I'm yawning. Sorry, Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah.
The shit that they're cutting back doesn't even affect me.
Do you know what they're cutting back?
Just like a lot of the tournament stuff. And they said
Fewer updates.
But this is the
they
beginning
said,
of the
they said
end.
fewer
probably.
updates, so they're going to be releasing fewer heroes, which is
but
fine by
they're
me.
still going to be.
They're still going to be doing it, which is fine by me because I don't have I have to. They're releasing heroes faster than I can purchase them anyways.
Right.
So like this actually gives me an opportunity to finally kind of purchase them all.
So Blizzard went on to say, we now have more live games and unannounced projects than at any point in the company's history.
Did you break?
No, that's it.
Oh, that's it. Damn it. you pulled up your iPad and then you just kept looking
That was
at
the
it.
end of the quote. That's all.
What do you think their next mobile game is going to be?
I think it has to be Overwatch.
You think it's going to be Overwatch?
So the Diablo's coming out. They got Hearthstone, and then the next big title is Overwatch.
I can see them doing a Heroes of the Storm mobile title.
That seems weird though if they're going to scale this one back.
I can see them doing that. Just like a mobile.
Although MOBAs are
mobile.
MOBAs have seen some success on
Yeah.
mobile.
I'm more inclined to believe it's Overwatch, but in the style of Galaxy of Heroes.
Because remember, we did see job notices for people working on Overwatch, but not the console game. Do you remember that?
There was also a posting for a first person shooter that was not Overwatch,
Right.
which suggests console, not mobile.
Right.
So
I don't think Overwatch has enough heroes to do a Galaxy of Heroes type deal.
I think it would be more focused on the team comp. Like it'd be like you're going against this team and like what's your team? And you would like collect the cards just to level up your team or like use you'd maybe it'd be more like action. So it'd be
This Assassin's Creed game, it kind of combines Fallout Shelter with Galaxy of Heroes. So there's missions that my characters can go off and fight other people,
right.
but then I also have like a home base that I can build and
See,
upgrade.
like that would be like rebuild Overwatch or something. Right?
I downloaded that game and then I kept on meaning to launch it and then I deleted it instead. But every time you talk about that game, it makes me want to play it. But every time I go to launch it, I'm just like, why would I do this?
I'm surprisingly enjoying myself.
Fuck.
But here's the one problem I encountered is that so they give you some characters to start off with, and then you unlock them through getting shards and whatnot, right? And I made it to I made it to the second tier of missions, and I can literally not move forward at all. I need a special hero. So each mission has requirements of what your hero's skills are, right? Those heroes need to be in that mission to complete it. And there's one with a skill that I don't have. Yep. Money. You gotta pay to unlock the heroes with the skill.
What is the method to getting them without paying? How long is it going to take you to grind?
Just hope that you unlock one in the free shard
Are you
pack
fucking kidding me?
give
There's
you.
no actual path to get the.
You need that hero. So some heroes you can unlock through doing other side missions.
Can you buy the hero?
You can buy. I think you can just buy the packs to unlock shards for certain characters.
Ugh.
Welcome to 2018.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Is there a time challenge that unlocks so you can get that character?
There's quest events and like timed events. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Maybe we're getting old.
No, I was actually thinking about this the other day. I was thinking about buying power is going down, and the buying power is all in the timed event. Like, I think buying power has shifted from like whatever it was before in mobile games, which was the fact, like the novelty of having a game on a phone, to now being like, I better have this limited event thing or else, literally. Because otherwise people are going to get bored and they're just going to leave it. So you better limit your items. Like at the Atomic Shop.
Yeah.
You want this cool red rocket sign? Well, guess you better buy it now then.
It's getting very tiresome. Like I feel exhausted without even having done them.
I was in a coffee shop today, and I had my one buddy with me, and he opened his phone. And he's like, "Oh, there's a Pokemon Go raid, and today's the last day." And I was like, immediately, for fuck's sake, like for the love of God, like the goddamn timed events are killing me.
And that one's even worse because you gotta go to a place to go do it.
You gotta coordinate and stuff.
Man, now I think about all the fucking time, all the Saturdays that we went out raiding.
Yeah.
I wish I could refund all that. Just get all that time
I
back.
don't see to me though, it's like I liked doing that. Like it's like an outing and it was a thing. But I think we literally just played it to death. We ended up missing like the raid there because we were trying to get people to show up, and then just randoms showed up and they did it. And then I was like, fuck, we should have stood there. And then I was like, why the fuck am I care about this? Like this is ridiculous. Like it's too much. No, and this goes for timed events across everything though.
That's me realizing about most things in life. Why the fuck do I care about any of this?
Well, it's just ridiculous. Like I'm just so sick of fucking timed events. Like that fucking red rocket sign. It's like fuck. Why is it timed? That's so ridiculous.
Because they want you to play the game.
Fuck them. I am playing the game. I fucking bought the most expensive version. Give me no timed things.
But they also, is there a way to pay to unlock it now and not have to do the challenge or something?
Well, in the case of Fallout 76, in the Atomic Shop, yes, because it's literally just this item's on the shop for this many days, or this many hours.
You know what I find too in Galaxy of Heroes? I've never paid any money for Galaxy of Heroes.
Okay.
All right. But the timed events that pop up, I physically cannot do them because my characters are not strong enough.
Fuck, I can't take this.
So it's almost like you need to pay into this game a ton of money
right.
to get the high level characters just to complete their time challenges.
How's that Harry Potter game?
That's a horrible game.
Why the fuck are you playing it? Like, if you are literally at the point where you're like, it's horrible.
Ryan,
what are you doing?
Ryan, if you give me your phone, I'll delete it for you.
No, it's.
Give me your phone.
I like the story is pretty loose, but I like this. I like going through the story.
No, 1 second, Eric. Are you a casual? Are you like a casual player of it, and you're fine with that?
Yeah,
that's fine.
I've not put any money into that game either.
Okay. See, that's more acceptable. Like you deleted Pokemon Go, for example. I'm gonna keep it around for when I actually walk around in real life because I don't mind playing it. And
Man,
I
had
like
such a smile on my face after I deleted that thing.
Well, whatever. Like it was
hurting
you
about
somehow.
deleting that thing.
That was so funny when you sent that video.
Well, it was hurting you.
It was like
however that was
comedically timed. You just like deleting it.
That was right after all the Mewtwo's you nabbed too.
Yeah. Oh man, I got. Fuck. I deleted it, and then like my nephew, my brother, my sister-in-law, they're like, can we have your Pokemon? I'm like, no. Like I don't. That involved me re-downloading the app and like going through this fucking bullshit of friend and trading and shit like that. Like I'm not even doing that. Like my Pokemon are just gonna sit there, and they're gonna be stuck in their Pokeballs forever.
Well, no, that's your save file. That's your save file. You played the game until you were done with it. That's it.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to our query corner question.
Hell yeah.
You're gonna have to explain this a little bit, but what state can you release a premium live game that you've paid for?
Okay, yeah. So, so I'll just explain it. So, what I mean by a premium game is literally a game you've paid for. So, with games that are live now, which is a lot of them. Live is in they keep getting updates, specifically content, timed events, and other things that you can play. Like so, there's a lot of free to play ones like that, right? But specifically, I'm talking the ones you have to pay for. So Fallout 76, for example, is a live game. Probably the most recent example that I can think of in which it released in a pretty bad state from a technical perspective. Say what you want about the content, it was pretty glitchy and that type of thing. A lot of performance issues on the PS4 regular for myself. So that type of thing. So at what state with these paid games, because it's different when it's free. So when it's a paid game, even if it's $10, what state, version 1.0, the people or the version that people play publicly, at what state can you release the game in? How bad, like how far from the game, how far from the end? And also one other thing, just before we jump in, is how, like even if the game is perfectly polished, but it has like 10 missions and there's supposed to be a planned 100. So people rush through the content really quick. So that's also a part of the state is I want to make sure it's, so like what technical state and what like gameplay state?
Well, just on a side note real quick, that Harry Potter game, I've caught up to the story missions that they've written. So,
I mean, that's decent game design if you did that for free.
it is for free. That's the difference.
That's decent pacing anyway.
But it's just funny that I've caught up to them. And so like every couple weeks now they'll update the game and add the new story missions and then I can finally play again and then I'll catch up and then I'll just kind of sit there.
That's kind of what it's for though, right? That's kind of what it's for. Like it's not an MMO or anything.
And the other thing is otherwise, so you're going through the years of Hogwarts. Typically there's 7 years in a Hogwarts like school, right? I'm in year 5. So if they had all the missions done, I probably would have been done the game and no reason to play it anymore. I don't know what happens once you get done with the
They'll probably
story.
write their own stuff.
Yeah.
You come back for a victory lap.
At Hogwarts, yeah.
You prestige.
Okay, so I guess based on your Query Corner question here, first off, I guess we have to have an understanding that these games aren't going to be perfect. There's going to be glitches. There's going to be bugs somewhere. Even the best developers, there's glitches and bugs.
But those are accidental.
Yeah.
And I would say that releasing a game in an actual poor state, in which it's obviously in a poor state, generally when it's in a poor state, it's usually, especially like if it's the first few days of the launch, generally it's the technical state that gets noticed.
Another thing too is I was watching, I think the Game Informer like podcast or something. They're talking about this. They're saying that usually in a Fallout game or like any other game, when there's a glitch, it's usually funny. Something happens, your character flies off in the world, or there's some weird like stretched out being. The problem with Fallout was when you can potentially lose progress or lose like gear or something like that.
Yeah.
That's when it becomes no longer funny, and is actually like bad.
Like the whole thing where they want you to use public workshops, and the whole system of public workshops is that when you leave, you no longer own it because it like goes back to the ownership of the server, so somebody else could claim it, right?
Yeah.
But when the game is unstable, you get disconnected or you get like you crash. You lose possession of it, and generally you haven't collected your reward from it yet. Because normally you'd go back and maybe collect it before you log off, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So like, isn't that like that's outrageous? Like it's almost bad game design because the game is designed bad. Like because the game is technically suffering from crashes and disconnects, the game design doesn't work. And so like, and that's like an obvious thing. Like they should, like Tim was saying, like they should detect a disconnect or detect that and relog you to a server where you could just like insta claim it, or maybe just relog you to that exact server, and there's like a grace period or something, right? That's what he was saying, and I do agree with that. Or the bag thing, like my bag drop and then boom, I get my game crashes. Like that's not good.
Yeah,
because the game design was that the bag drops, I'm supposed to be able to go and get my stuff. Now, imagine losing all those hours if If I had actually lost the whole night, I lost a chunk, but not the whole night.
Yeah, I think if you pay for it though, it should
But like,
should be good.
What state? So the Division is a good one. The Division had no end game. Like you guys you and Aaron, I think, were the first to 30, and the end game was run around the Dark Zone, and that's not really an end game. Like, oh, do your dailies and like kind of make your character better, but you're already like top tier. It's like, why the fuck would I refine myself if I'm already like close to best?
What I find strange is this seems to happen with every game that is supposed to be a live game. Remember the first Destiny when you're finished? It was like wasn't really anything to do except run the frickin' Fogoth mission over and over
Yeah,
again.
like the strikes or the raid. Yeah.
And then there's a big controversy, and then they had all these DLC, and you had to buy the DLC just to have good end game content.
And the first expansion pass only included 2 mini DLCs that we didn't get, and then they were like, oh, by the way, the two mini expansions and the base game are essentially free, and for $79.99 you can buy the Taken King. It's like, what? But I have the base game. Nope.
And they essentially did the same thing with 2. Even when we got to the end of 2, there was nothing else to do. You know,
That's actually like for like, and I'm not fucking around now. Like with Bungie, that's a mark off the list. I can't. If Bungie has this big amazing game, can't buy it. Sorry,
Destiny
because
3?
you're just gonna fuck me over.
not gonna buy Destiny 3.
No, I'm done. That's out. I almost didn't claim the free Destiny 2 on the Blizzard client or whatever it is.
It's hard to say though, because I think of the game as the story being the game, right? So I would say I got my money's worth out of Destiny 1 and 2 because we played it, we had fun, we did the story, it finished, we saw credits.
The first game I would say yes. The first game I got burned by bad business practices months later, but I wasn't burned by the actual game. Like people were saying it's grinding this thing, the other thing. We were grinding and stuff very kind of casually,
And it's a fun game to play too.
and it was and it's a well handling, really well technically made, very polished game actually. Like the game handles really well, doesn't crash or anything. So like there's that whole thing. I would say that like 2, I was already burned by the bad business practices of 1, so I had a bias, like an anti-bias. And when we got to the end, and then they did kind of the same thing, I immediately was like, "Fuck, I don't care about this.
Yeah.
Like this is just to me, it's bad business practice. I'm out. Get the hell out of here." And the thing is too is like Tim makes a good point. Is he said like game like Monster Hunter. My Monster Hunter World may be an exception, but in terms of the other Monster Hunter games, they're less popular than a big mainstream game, but they're so polished and so ready to be done, and there's so much content, and it's a grindy game, but like that's in the design. But it's like look how much stuff you could do in a Monster Hunter game, and like World is no exception to that, other than the fact that it's quite popular. But like look at these games, and then like look at what. Like Bungie's pumping out, and look at what The Division was before it got updated. And admittedly, they fixed The Division even with free updates. Like if you only had the free stuff, you got a bunch of free stuff, and that's great. That's fantastic. But like for whatever reason, I don't get. Like, is there like a plan to do this? I think like it. Do you remember when games used to relaunch? And this was like around the time of Destiny. Like a little bit, like around the time of the first Destiny, games would launch and they would always the servers would always go offline.
Yeah,
and those are kind of gone now. Those days are kind of gone. Like Destiny really didn't have that problem, not one that affected us. Things have gone offline, I'm sure, but nothing that the game's launched and you can't play it for a week because the servers are all fucked. That's kind of gone. Like even Fallout really hasn't had the servers go down. And like a Fallout of all things, I thought for sure would have that like classic trope. Why so that's gone, but now we have this like the scope of the game is shit
right.
on launch.
Yeah.
And why is that? And it's not every time, but almost every time. What the hell's going on here?
I think they're relying on the liveness of the game. That they'll update it over time.
But like my question is wouldn't you create a game that is complete and then ship it? Because they know they're going to catch grief for it.
But something like The Division, there was a complete game there.
There wasn't. There was no end game.
No, there's no end game.
And then what?
There was no end game, but like there was a progression that you played through.
But a part of an RPG like that is an end game. That was not there. And the end game's like solution they had was like just go into the dark zone. It's like, well, fuck, I could do that at any level, and it's leveled to me.
Right.
So it's not like I'm getting a much different experience. Like, sure, there's more skill involved in stuff now.
And I never found anything crazy in there. It's not like it was like coming out there with like bags of gold. You know what I mean? It was just
I mean, we found some pretty good stuff in there, but you're right. Like, it wasn't like a fantasy game where you're like, holy fuck, I've never seen this sword or whatever the fuck before.
That's always been my problem with RPGs. Is like I never feel like I find anything cool.
I would say that's my favorite part of a Bethesda game.
But even in Fallout, you might have some better stuff because you're higher level. But like, I don't have any weapon. I'm like, man, I can't believe I found this weapon. You know,
I had one and I sold it. It was real sad. I deleted it. I built this really nice plasma rifle and I went up to like a bunch of people and I shot them, and it didn't do any damage. And I was like, all right, and I just scrapped it. Just got rid of it immediately. But like so Fallout 3, for example, the Lincoln repeater is fucking awesome. Like that's a really cool item. The musket, I love that musket. Like if they put a turncoat, like a red turncoat in the atomic shot, I'm buying that. Like I am purchasing that because that's hilarious. I usually start every fight with that's how we know how to engage. It's like, are we ready to engage? And then you just hear like a big old musket blast, big old puff of smoke.
yeah.
And then man, what's going on over there? I'm reloading. Like, of course I am. Like, it's fucking one shot.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's hilarious to me. Like, the novelty of that is just hilarious.
I think if a game is supposed to have some sort of end game, then yeah, it should probably ship with an end game.
Like, why aren't these guys shipping complete games? Like, Fallout was incomplete technically, I'd say. I don't know what the end game is.
There's a lot of development though in it, you know.
But like fuck them. Like you can't. Like I don't think that's an excuse.
But I think it's more the publisher saying we need this game out at this time, have a game ready to ship and go. I don't think it's Bethesda's game studios, the developer.
Yeah, BGS.
I don't think it's necessarily their fault that this game is so bad.
I'm not pointing the finger at intent.
I think the publisher, you know,
like the suits.
pushed it to get it out this year and before the holidays.
Possibly, I think 76
because they know how bad that game was at launch. The developers know. Do you know what I mean?
The thing is, though,
they weren't surprised by the bad reviews.
Do they know though?
Yes.
I didn't really know during the beta. I thought the beta was fine.
Even bad movies, the director, the producers, they all know it's a bad movie. But there's not much they can do.
But in terms of a game, it's like, unless the core system is completely janked, it's like, if your game is bad because you didn't have enough content, it's like, whose fault is that? And something like Spider-Man is a good indication. That is a complete, I would call it a complete, well done, standard though, open world game. Mm-hmm. And they had a rapid fire, reasonably priced release system, and they became the biggest, either the biggest or one of the biggest selling Sony titles, like PlayStation.
I think it was the fastest and biggest selling exclusive. Yeah,
and and it has the most platinums, right? If I'm not correct, or,
I think so too. Yeah,
or it's up there anyway. And like that's fucking reward for them making a fucking good game. Like that's a good game. Mm-hmm. And even though it's in a standard formula, right? But it's just done well. It runs well. I don't even know of any glitches I've encountered.
Right.
But yet, like with Fallout, it's like half the time I'm like, is this a mechanic or am I glitching? Honestly, like, and it's constant. It's like, am I freezing? What's happening to me? And sometimes it's a mechanic, but like other times it's like it legitimately is like a glitch.
Yeah.
And so like, what right do these guys have to release stuff like this? Now, I've had this conversation a lot with my business partner because we make websites and web apps and apps sometimes, and there's been times where I have said, I'm like, in terms of industry standard. Now we don't make games to be totally clear. We don't make games. In terms of industry standard, I've said several times, I'm like, why are we putting polish into this stuff? Do people appreciate it? Or are they just going to use it when it's in a shit's face and or like a shitty like phase and we'll just fix it later? Like, cause it's actually it's actually skin off of our back to put time into fixing it while it's not being released.
Yeah. I think more people need to do that too. As consumers, we need to exercise our right to, we bought Fallout. We pre-ordered it.
Admittedly, I wanted the helmet though.
Yes, but like, one of the problems too is there's no proper return system on a lot of these things. EB Games doesn't really necessarily have a return system, if I remember correctly. It has to be defective or something,
or sealed maybe.
Even then, I think it's tough, right?
Well, I know hardware is different.
Yeah,
because my Wii U broke, and they were like, "We might have to send in for repair." I'm like, "Well, it's within 30 days. Just give me my money back," and they did it.
But digital, I don't think Sony can return a digital game on Sony's platform.
I think there is some sort of thing in place. Do not quote me on that. But the digital guys, like especially Steam, for example, is getting better.
I think that's what needs to happen. Is like Fallout being this bad, we technically should not have bought it, and we should have returned it if possible. Well,
the thing that sucks is
the only way they're going to change is that if they don't make money off this. then they'll be like, okay, we have to ship a quality game now.
Right. I would say though that like Fallout's a weird case because it's their first game like this. It's their first game like this. It's their first multiplayer game. It's their first Fallout multiplayer game. Like it's a lot of firsts. So there's like I'm not saying it's an excuse by any means, but I honestly think it should have been delayed to like early 2019 at least.
Yeah.
But like admittedly though, like that one patch, like the one that added the stash space was the worst patch for us. Now whether maybe it's because of my situation with the pocketed armor, but I'm sure I'm not alone in that. But
Yeah.
like that was the worst state the game was in, and that was a well after launch. Like I was playing the game for that first week, like I said, and I recognized it had problems, but I was having a good time.
Well, I think it's funny too. Even if they delayed it like a month or two, it's probably it probably would have sold better than it did now. They're trying to get that Christmas crowd, right?
They could get the Christmas crowd right now too. They just fucking release it now.
Yeah, like I guess
what are
they
you guys
could.
doing?
But even if they delayed it like another couple months, so it was really more refined, you know, it probably would have been reviewed better. It probably would have sold better. Fallout fans are going to go buy it regardless. You know, it's a Follow game. They're going to buy it no matter what time of year you're going to release it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People want to play Fallout, so I don't know.
The thing that really sucks too is it like sullies their reputation because it's like I'm not giving Starfield a free pass anymore. Like when they show that off, like I'm going to pay attention. I'm not saying I'm totally out. But I'm not really excited for Starfield. I'm not really excited for this whole engine debacle that they're having, where allegedly they're using the same engine and that. One guy who and like it's a guy on Reddit, but like he said like I think he was an engineer of some type, if I remember correctly. Again, Reddit post, but it was some like anyway. His sentiment was that just spend a year making that engine good. He's like, if the engine makes world gen really easy, fine. Then fucking spend a year and fucking fix the rest of the engines. Make it a better engine and then make a game.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing? Like, why not do it like that? And I don't think that's any excuse. Like, and the Division 2, I think the Division 2 is going to be a really key. Like, I think they learned a really good lesson with Division 1. They started doing those free updates whenever there was also a paid like DLC release.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a really good model because everyone gets involved.
But this is the problem. You would have thought that Bungie would have learned the lesson on Destiny 1, and they didn't. So I don't know how much faith they can put into Ubisoft.
But I would say
not making the same mistake again.
I would say that Destiny didn't handle it correctly.
Yeah.
So like Division releases, it was mixed. Let's say no end game, whatever. That's a bit arguable, but like or that's a bit controversial. But like whatever. Like it has mixed feelings, if you will, from the gaming community.
Mm-hmm.
And then they start fixing it. They start realizing, hey, we don't want our free players, the guys that don't pay, to fall behind. So let's raise the level cap for them too. Let's give them 3-4 features and give the paid guys their specific features. So then the paid guys are getting a whole bunch of shit. The free guys are getting some shit too. They're not falling way behind. Everyone's able to play together, like with the exception of the paid areas, unless everyone paid. And that's a smart way to do it.
Yeah.
And then, they added the fucking crates and stuff. But I don't like that necessarily. But the point is though, is they dealt with that well. What the hell is that?
It's the end of the song.
Oh. But they dealt with that properly, whereas Destiny just did the whole releasing of the DLC.
Yeah.
And remember the one editor or something like that? It was some guy was asking a Bungie employee, do you not realize that you're making the one the whole first part of the game, which was $130 a Canadian,
yeah,
free? And he's like, we believe that the value proposition. He's like, I'm not asking you about the value proposition. Do you not realize that you are essentially kicking those people to the curb? Essentially, you're kicking them for early adopters. We believe that and then he kept reiterating
boilerplate stuff. Yeah,
yeah. Look up the interview yourself because it was. It's self-explanatory, but it's the fuck is happening? They didn't handle that right. Whereas Division was fuck, we need to fix this. They do it, and then it becomes a huge game.
Yeah.
Same with Rainbow Six Siege. So I would say that Ubisoft is in a really good position to do a good job with these type of things because they've handled it right. They learn how to handle it, figure out what's good, what's bad, what people like, what people don't, and then they fucking did it.
Yeah.
So, conclusion. As a really brief conclusion, what's your two states? What states? how much leeway should you give a version 1, if you will?
If you're buying a product, okay, it should be as advertised.
So polished and complete.
Yeah.
Can they leave anything open-ended?
Again, there's an understanding that humans aren't perfect. We can't code perfect software. There's going to be
glitches that are
and stuff.
accidental and not due to lack of testing are different.
And games are so complex now too. It's like people talk about the PS2 era or like before, where you couldn't physically update the games,
which is a mess. Yeah,
and so they had to make sure it ran properly because they shipped it and that was it.
That's it. Yeah,
but those games were a lot simpler than they are now. Hugely complex now. So
and like some people are getting weird glitches where it's like, oh, I logged out 6 times, turned off the power 4 times, had somebody else log in, and now it doesn't work. It's like, well, Jesus.
But yeah, I think most people just want as advertised. If you're buying something, it should do exactly what it says it does, or however you promote it or talk about it. It should do that. If you say there's amazing, great, end game content that people can play and enjoy for hours and hours on end,
then it should have that.
And it should have that. Yeah.
I would say one other thing too is in the modern era. I don't know if you would agree with me here, but it's like I find that glitches now or like worlds now are floaty. So like they seem to not put any effort into the people, like the side, the civilians walking down the street. And this is not like, this is a general statement. Not all games are like this, but it's like the random people walking up and down the street. There's like no detail, like Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Right, yeah.
So the world feels incidental, and what I get is like a floaty feeling where the world just feels floaty and I'm just kind of in it doing shit.
Well, I think this is the next step is really focusing on making the world feel alive. And I think Red Dead took a step forward doing that.
I would say Bethesda was a step below them, but they did it. Like maybe not with 76, there's no NPCs, but with the people going to the bar and working and going home.
But even then you can still see the pattern, right?
Yeah.
But like if you're just walking around, there's random encounters in Red Dead that feel completely natural. A guy will come running out of the woods and like shout for help or something. Or
that's cool.
I was I was driving into Blackwater or riding into Blackwater, right? And this carriage comes up with a man and a woman riding it, and it comes rolling up next to me and then stops. And I look at the people riding it; they got arrows coming through them.
Oh Jesus!
They just got killed somewhere, and their horses just took them somewhere, and they were just dead. And I was like, "Holy crap!"
Like that's fucking scary. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it just makes the world feel like it's actually dynamic and shifting and changing and stuff. So I think that'll be a big part of next gen is making the actual humans seem. Even Spider-Man kind of did it to a degree with the selfies and like interactions and stuff.
But even then, like the people like had very limited like costumes or like suits.
Yeah.
And they were kind of like shittily done. And in the past, like on PS2 and stuff, they were shittily done as well because there wasn't the power. But now, I mean, especially with Red Dead being an example, I would argue there is the power, and you need to start making the world less floaty. Watch Dogs is a prime example. They try to make
Oh my God, yeah.
Well, they try to make it seem like it was alive. So the first time you go around, you're like, holy fuck, there's a guy like beatboxing on the corner. There's another guy that like, I don't know, he runs this store. It feels kind of alive. And then you go back and you're like, oh, it's another guy in the same spot beatboxing with a different hoodie. Hey, look, there's a guy with a different shirt running the same store. Like it's the same shit that's kind of varied. Mm-hmm. And you get that like floaty feeling from the world. And I would say that needs to be ironed out.
Yeah. All right, Adrian?
That was a good nap I had.
All right.
Me and Matt stream on Wednesdays. We'll probably be taking a break over the
and I stream
holidays
their
here.
stream.
You watch us stream.
Yeah, I'm gonna set up a camera one day, just over the shoulder of me watching your stream.
That's really weird.
And then we could pipe in the feed, so it'd be delayed on a delayed stream.
And then feedback, and then just.
Oh.
And you can go over check out our YouTube, and you can watch our past streams on there. And yeah.
check out the podcast, obviously.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. By the way, what's the last numbered podcast that went up on YouTube, man?
What's this one?
234.
So 233.
If I load it up right now, 233 was the last one that went up.
As far as I know, the shows have been uploaded. I know that.
I'm gonna check that live right now.
That's
all
fine.
right. Well, I'm gonna shut this off. Goodbye.
Peace.